Hi, welcome. Hope you're doing very fine. I'm so glad to be here today. Let me present myself. You can call me Zeta, and I live in France, in a region known for its pretzels. Also, I make 3 models, as a hobby and for projects. I've always been a huge fan of colorful games, most of them being platformers, both 2D and 3D ones. Mario, Sonic, Kirby, The Blob, Pokemon, and obviously M&M's Lost Formulas on PC. And if you're here, you were probably waiting for me to mention the name of Rayman, at least if you've read the title. So today, I want to present you a game that is very dear to me, and that was actually my first exposure to the series, one that is not really known outside of our borders, Rayman CP. It stands for Cours Préparatoires. It's the name of the French first grade, and as its name suggests, this is an educational game, or as this kind of game is often called, edutainment. Some people might be familiar with Rayman Brain Games, another Rayman edutainment game. Well, this has nothing to do with it. Rayman CP is not a platformer, but more of a point-and-click game, with a mini-game structure. Maybe you've heard of Smart Rabbit or Adiboo? So you can say goodbye to Rayman 1's engine and the dastardly, unforgiving traps that you got used to. And let's embark together in the skies and see what this game is about. Rayman CP is an educational Rayman game that was exclusive to France. Like Les Dictées de Rayman, released in '98, which you can see uses Rayman 2's model, with pre-rendered sprites and animations. Rayman CP, on the other hand, uses a high-definition version of Rayman 1's design, and gets inspiration from a lot of places, as we'll see later. Rayman CP is divided in 2 discs, one about reading, and one about calculus. Each disc has its own classes, games, and places. When starting the game, you'll see Rayman, clearly flying high on Cloud 9, explaining you how to create or select your save profile. Also, his best friend is a clown from Candy Chateau. By the way, you better get used to Rayman and his friends explaining you things, be it for the UI or the game rules. They'll do their best to explain everything there is to know, every time in a very charming way. After landing, you'll arrive in town, which is different depending on the disc you've inserted. The town serves as a selection menu, or a hub if you prefer. You can access all of the other classes from here, and funny animations will regularly play using the elements of the decor. From here, you can also go to the train station. This is basically both the extracurricular activity and the recess parts of that school game and... Wait a minute, I know this place. Anyway, something I really like about this game is that it's been developed with the help of teachers who cared, and it shows. They worked on developing a learning gameplay loop that's rewarding and makes the kid, me, want to go for more and exercise more. There's an entire part reserved to the parents to explain them the concept, how it's been studied, etc. Along that is a list of the classes describing a recommended order for the learning path, the progress the kid is making in class, and the goal of each class. Each class has 3 difficulty levels, and every time you finish a level, for the first time or not, you get a gift! A little song, sung by Rayman, that is pretty much always animated in a really wacky way. And oh boy, there is gold. Those can also be played and replayed directly in the reward menu. Every time you finish a difficulty level of a class for the first time, you get a new item related to the class. Every time you finish all difficulty levels of a class, you get a new activity sheet to print. Every time you finish a difficulty level for all the classes, you unlock a mini-game. Every 25% of the game completed, you also get a fun, less substantial little game. And when you finish everything on each disc, you get 2 parts of a code that, back then, you sent to Ubisoft through a form in the box, would get you an actual gift at home. Now, if you'll allow me, I'd like to go over the classes and activities themselves in detail. I don't even know why I'm asking for permission. This is my video, I'll do what I want. The reading disc. The classes. The first class of the reading disc is about recognizing the presence of certain sounds in words to help Rayman cross the pond on top of lily pads to join the clown's picnic. First with pictures to help you, then only with text for higher difficulties. But if you hover over the word or picture, you can hear Rayman say the word out loud. For the second game, I don't know why, but they chose to make a sound association memory game, which is an easier task than the previous one, but well. Your goal here is to pick one of the chatty fish and put it in the basket that makes the same sound as them. I don't really know if this was genius or just weird. Yep, I'm still a kid. Pretty early, we're meeting a French stereotype, I believe. Actually, it took me quite a bit of exposure to foreign media to figure that out. Anyway, here our Ray artist is telling us the name of letters, and it's up to us to recognize all the ways they are written in a selection on the screen. For each section cleared, we'll get more funny animations related to the current letter. Also, this game has exclusive song rewards at the end about how to differentiate similarly written letters. The Fruit Market. In this game, you must select the missing part of a word, and Rayman will punch the heck out of those plums to complete that task. The Boxing Match. To stay in the topic of punching, here you'll do the opposite of the previous exercise. Some extra letters appeared inside the words, and you'll have to figure out which ones, so that Rayman can exercise his punches more, in what seems to be a boxing ring in the middle of the Temple of Stone and Fire from Rayman 2. Les mots croisés. This activity is about crosswords. Rayman will give a description of what the word is supposed to be when you hover your mouse over it, and you'll see a picture of it as well. You have a set of letters available on the side of the screen that you need to place to complete the words. Careful, some of them are traps. In exclusivity for this edutainment game, we're getting designs for limbless animals too. We'll see them appear later too. Les lunettes. The glasses. Here, Rayman spent too long on his screen and needs an eye exam. Remember Rayman kids? They touch some grass from time to time. The exercise here tests the kids' graphic memory, and their ability to recognize a word quickly from memory. You gotta press the buzzer when the proper word reappears on screen. The diving competition. One of my favorites for some reason. The word is moving through the water. Click on the corresponding picture on the blinds, or else... The Firefighter Clown. Now this one, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of. The clown is holding the flowers hostage and will water them with his hose if, and only if, you click on all the words that are in the type of writing he's telling you. Or should I say font? One of them is handwritten, or écrit à la main, as we call it. But it's just a font that vaguely resembles handwriting. Except it's not what they mean. Ugh. I have bad memories of this one. I could never get it right. Le Marchand de Glace. The clown decided to be nice again. On this giant cake, a sentence will be presented for a few seconds, until the candle dies out. And then our god and savior Polycus, I guess, will hide a part of it with some whipped cream. Just kidding, it's the clown. You'll then have to pick the right words to complete the sentence. Les timbres farceurs. The jokester stamps. In this, you're going to complete rebuses with pictures. I always loved those. I wonder if my love for puns came from here. You associate words together, and they form new words. Oh no, Rayman, no! The theater. That one's pretty simple at this point. With or without pictures, guide the words to their proper lexical field, as they fall from the top. Pretty Tetris-like. You can also be asked to sort the words by color, or where the animal it describes lives. The theater. But, no, the other kind. The cinema. Now that's my absolute favorite. You've got a bunch of text and pictures, and your job is to rebuild a coherent story by placing them in the right order on the film roll. And if you succeed, you'll get to see it animated. And very often breaking the fourth wall, Rayman jumping from one picture to the other. the activities. And we're all done with the classes of the reading disc. I think it's time for recess. So, in the train station from the TV series, Peace to its soul, it left us too soon, you'll get access to a bunch of extracurricular activities and fun minigames, such as an English workshop with the English cricket. Gosh, another character with a really strong accent. With him, you can learn how to say a few words, ordered in categories. Instruments, transports, body parts, and furnitures. Next, we have the drawing and coloring workshop. The first one is some kind of Rayman version of Mario Paint, with color palettes and even stickers. Oh, something I found. You can see on this one sticker the musician's wife from the Blue Mountains, and her hair goes in front of her torso. So, for a very long time, I thought she had a beard. Anyway, the second part of this activity lets you color different pieces of Rayman 1 art. You can either color them freely, and by freely I mean using the bucket tool, or by following numbered color codes. You can also see pre-colored versions of them. You'll also find some sheets about color mixing, color wheels, color temperature, made in partnership with an art furniture brand. This game also has a writing workshop, with a text editor and some funny templates to use. While you are able to print what you've just drawn, colored, or written, there's actually a printing workshop too, with lots of sheets, made specially to be printed at home. Recipes, lists of numbers, the alphabet, nursery rhymes, and a whole bunch of limbless animals, that you can then color yourself with your good old pencils. Then we've got the cinema workshop. In here, you can pick one of 3 characters, actions, and subjects to the action, and you'll hear Betilla tell your sentence, and the clown react to the result.
Betilla mange le chien. Ah non, pas le chien!
The station's clock gives you access to a clock, which will ask you to put the hands at the proper places to get the requested time. And finally, by clicking on the speakers, you'll be able to listen to 2 character presentation songs, one about Betilla, and another about Rayman.
C'est moi le fameux Rayman, si beau et tellement costaud. Une banane et un gros nez, et oui c'est bien moi Rayman. J'ai plein d'amis incroyables, Betilla la fée, le criquet d'Angleterre et le clown tout amoureux, le magicien aux cheveux blonds, le moine et les Livingstone. Ensemble, on fait la fête!
The math disc. The classes. Now I'm a bit less familiar with the math disc, and some exercises are maybe more classic, but just as much care has been put into it. Without further ado, the calculus classes. Julie Lotari. You move Julie the seal to the number that's written in words at the bottom. She then uses her ball to rip the net open and he eats all the fish. Le parcours sportif. In this minigame, Rayman is climbing the platforms of the primordial forest for sports. Your job is to select the next number in the number series so that you can find stable ground to jump on. Le lampadaire. The street lamps in this place are different sizes. It's up to you to sort the numbers accordingly, from smaller to bigger, or bigger to smaller. In hard mode, you instead have 2 numbers, and you need to select the proper operator, smaller than, bigger than, or equal. L'aquarium. That one is just a counting game. Fish will go through the aquarium, more or less quickly depending on difficulty, and you have to pick correctly how many there were. Le casino. For once, Rayman stops being a hero and promotes gambling with a kid-friendly version of a slot machine, and you can see his addiction from a mile away.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
For this exercise, the slot machine will show a number, and you'll need to turn the rolls to display the correct amount of fruits. You'll be asked to turn 1, 2, or all 3 rolls, depending on difficulty. Chez Gino. Eat at Gino's? The goal of this exercise Everyone gets their turn, it seems. The goal is to select an addition whose result is the one given at the bottom of the screen. To do that, move Rayman using your arrow keys so that he can collect or walk through the corresponding notebooks. Oh, funny thing, moving Rayman actually acts like moving a cursor in a text editor, bit by bit, and if you hold the key, he'll move one bit, wait, then suddenly move fast in the chosen direction. Les fleurs sauvages. The wild flowers. A bunch of living stones are holding flowers of different colors. Here you need to count the amount of each color, then add them up to get the total amount. The bank. On the bank's vault door, you must convert line additions into post additions to help you do the math. Once you finish this task 5 times, you unlock a cooking recipe that you can print. Those are also available in the bonus section. The pastries. Perfect transition to the bakery and its pastries. Here you'll have to take care of the accounting. Just kidding. Unless you'll have the result of an addition and a part of the original operation. It is verbally presented as a subtraction in a way that makes you understand that subtractions are backwards additions. L'avion voltigeur. This exercise is less about calculus and more about teaching you cardinal points. You are given directions, and using your arrow keys, you need to move your plane on the map. First with the basic directions, up, down, left, right, then on higher difficulties with north, south, west, and east, with visual help, then without it. The Adventure Book. This exercise's goal is to teach your kids to use coordinates. Just as the previous game, the rules change depending on the difficulty. First, you'll have a grid where you need to figure out which 2 pictures fit together, and check the corresponding boxes. Then the same will be asked, but this time without pictures, only with words. And finally, Rayman will give you coordinates associating letters and numbers. La fête foraine. The carnival. For this exercise, let's just say more effort was put in the animations than the exercise itself. A carnival wheel is rotating, circling between different shapes, and Rayman asks you to shoot specific shapes by pressing the spacebar. That's it. That's all of it. Each time you succeed, though, you'll get a pretty detailed animation about the surrounding toys and items, which can be a bit disturbing to be honest. Les cartes postales. The postcards. This game is a spot the differences game, but reversed. You need to find what is missing in a picture and its mirrored image, and place those parts at the corresponding places, in both pictures, to make them true mirror images of each other. The activities. Just like the reading disc, the calculus one has a train station, and while it shares with it some activities that I'll skip over, it has its own set of extra content, including 2 new character songs for the Magician and the Clown. The Space Tunes, a Space Invaders clone using Antitunes and Zit. Jigsaw puzzles made from the Rayman 1 art. The Magic Eraser Gummies! Basically a maze taking place in Picture City. This game reuses the theme from the Mr. Scops boss, so the first time I actually played Rayman 1, which happened way later, the kid I was couldn't not say stuff like, OMG, it's the Magic Eraser Gummy song! Then there's the Hungry Fish, Les Poissons Voraces, an arcade game where the many fish of the forest are trying to eat your plums. You must stray them away from them by punching them with your clicks. And finally, a music workshop with musical games. Earlier, I told you about the little songs you get for completing a level. They are written more for the rhymes themselves and don't always make sense. Can I call them nursery rhymes? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, the animation team had a blast. And I'd like to finish off with a compilation of my favorite ones.
À travers toute la ville, je déboule sur des roulements à billes. Les wagons suivent en riant, la loco est soufflée loin devant. Une souris, ça ne danse pas le tango avec un éléphant. Une fourmi, ça ne vole pas bien haut, même sur le dos d'un toucan. Une pieuvre et un requin se sont mariés hier matin. Chaque jour à vélo, je vais me balader, je vais voir ma fiancée. Elle habite en haut d'une colline ombragée, alors je prends mon VTT. Pour s'envoler, faut une fusée, un avion ou bien encore une montgolfière. Pour s'envoler, faut des ailes de papillon ou un hélicoptère. Au basket, faut être très grand. Mais le mieux, c'est encore d'être géant pour marquer des points sans se fatiguer.
And that's it. I think I covered everything I could cover about that game. As I said, it's the first Rayman game I've ever played, and it holds a very special place in my heart. So much I keep using it as a base for works and community projects. It was a real pleasure and very fun to make. At least it was a pleasure to write about it. I hope for future me it was also fun to edit. I would like to thank everyone who has taken the time to listen to the nostalgic ramblings of some random guy who likes Rayman a whole lot since he was a child. I would also like to thank James Mackenzie, or Rayman Together, who organized this event and without who I would have never dared to record myself. I'd also thank May, my sweetheart forever, who supports me every day, and I want to thank everyone else who's been there for me. Here are my socials, as well as theirs, if you want to know more. Thanks for watching, and take care everyone.
Veux-tu vraiment quitter Rayman? Oui? Eh bien, au revoir et à bientôt!